The most important trait to have when playing competitive Pokemon is keeping a cool head at all times. Now, this might sound funny coming from the guy that vehemently hates getting hacked and subsequently never says GG if he does get hacked, but having the capability of separating your anger from your playing ability is something not a lot of players can actually do, and this applies to both singles and doubles. The clearest evidence of this is simply playing on the ladder, potentially critting one of your opponent's setup sweepers when they still have 5 mons in the back and they forfeit the game straight after, even though the game is nowhere near over. Losing your cool doesn't only apply to getting hacked and losing your motivation to play because the hacks put you behind, but even if you are behind in the game without relevant hacks like paralysis or sleep, and your opponent is just playing better, the ability to keep going, searching for win cons on your side, analysing and taking risks, this all requires you to keep calm and not get too angry or stressed out. With videos like this, I always like to use real examples, so let's take my game for the Euphanos Legacy Premier League versus Bambadoro in Oras UU. You'll see why I go over this game and why I chose it to be in today's video. But even before we start to watch the game, let's analyze turn 0, the matchup turn. To add some context, I built this team around Banded Entei because I felt Entei was a decent pick in the format. Even fire resists like the bulky waters that populate Oras UU, you still have 50-50 odds of getting them burned by Sacred Fire in a generation where burn still does 12% of your HP. Eventually Entei will chip them down and allow another one of its teammates like Mega Aerodactyl to clean later. And Entei did have a decent matchup into Bambadoro's team. Faster than Nidoking, hits Chestnut and Doublade for super effective damage, and Era and Blissey aren't Entei switch-ins. Suicune was the only Entei switch-in, and to be fair, it's a very good one. So I'm thinking, once I get rid of Suicune, it's lights out. However, things are never that easy. Outside of Entei, my team is just lacking super strong breaking power that threatens their entire team. Like Mega Aerodactyl is a strong Pokemon, yes, but I lacked wing attack, so I can't break through Chestnut. Doublade frankly takes 0 from Earthquake, and even Blissey can take a hit when it matters, and can Thunder Wave me. And there's still Suicune in the back as well. And P2, Roserade and Empoleon aren't getting past Blissey no matter what. The skill of a Pokemon player here, especially at turn 0, is to keep track of how they can deal with their opponent's team with your own tools, and then see how to respond to their threats on your team. Just a quick break here to say join the kingdom if you haven't. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, and I thank you guys for all the support. Now back to the video. If I reverse the analysis, Nidoking is a tough breaker to wall, but P2 has enough special bulk to get 3-hit KO'd by Nidoking. Doublade, I frankly don't have many switch-ins other than pivoting Entei on a Swords Dance turn, or taking Iron Head comfortably, and Mega Arrow is also handled by P2 and Fizzdeath Sylveon somewhat. But the game in general isn't the important thing here, it's the message I'm giving out that the game supplements. So yeah, let's finally get into this game. Oops, I almost lost my mouse for a second. So either way, yeah, so we start off with this game. I lead off with P2 because frankly it does okay into everything else, but you know, so they swap out their Nidoking, they don't want to firm that Ice Beam in it. So yeah, Blissey comes in, and yeah, these first couple of turns aren't really too important here. It's more like getting off to the start. They get out rocks, I'm going to get out my own rocks. And yeah, at this point, again, like I said in the you know, matchup turn 0, I'm just like, Blissey, like their team is kind of hard for me to break through. Like Entei, I need to position Entei in quite well so I can, you know, maximize all of that. So I wrote out Blissey because frankly I don't want to take any more seismic toss damage. And unfortunately I get Nidoking in, so you know, that's just how it is. So I get my Porygon 2 in, and you know, like I said, this thing is not 2-hit KO'd by Nidoking. As you can see, Earth Power did 38%. So they get Blissey back in because they know Blissey can just do bits versus my team, to be fair. So yeah, P2 is back in, can't really do anything to Blissey. I do go Sylveon now because I'm just like, at this point, maybe I can try setting up because this is Fizzdeath Sylveon with Calm Mind. So even Doublade is not taking, like that's the only, well to be fair, Nidoking is their Fairy Resist, but none of their Fairy Resist can even take, you know, Hyper Voice too well. But yeah, Blissey's Toxic over T-Wave, which is frankly more annoying for my team, to be fair. But yeah, so I get Entei in because they Seismic Toss. I know Entei is not taking that much because it actually has a decent HP stat, and I also just wished it back in. So yeah, Sacred Fire, start doing some damage, and Blissey takes that quite comfortably, to be honest. 63 goes to show max defense. Blissey's kind of scary. So yeah, they go Suicune, and this is pretty much the start of Entei's you know, sort of rampage here in terms of just making sure Suicune is chipped down, get the 50-50 burn like I'm saying, and Suicune's leftovers is basically nullified. So I go Roserade because what the hell is Suicune doing to Roserade, and they decide to roll me out, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Get Sylveon back in, and I'm like, not the worst thing in the world, obviously. And yeah, So yeah, just play by play here. You know, I'm just trying to get my Sylveon back healthy, because Wish passing in like some of my other Pokemon as well, especially something like Entei, you know, to take some hits from, let's say, Blissey Seismic Toss like it did before, even switching on Chestnut, that's not too bad. So yeah, Nidoking, not a Pokemon I want to deal with, so obviously P2 is my response here. And yeah, I don't think the important thing, as you can see, like I'm kind of on the back foot in this game. Like Bambadora kind of has the lead on me, because every time P2's in, they can just go Blissey and I'm forced to recover. So yeah, like I could obviously just go Entei here like I did. Like I feel like anyone watching this replay would have probably just gone Entei here, but they decided to Seismic Toss me, which is not too bad. Again, I can manage to break Blissey with Sacred Fire, but keep track of the fact that Sacred Fire only has 8 PP, guys. So obviously I'm on 4, I've used 4 Sacred Fires, and it comes to the point where obviously Sacred Fire PP is going to run out, but it's a very spammable move, because number 1, I don't take recoil like Flare Blitz, and number 2, eventually, like I don't even need to click it. But yeah, as you can see, Suicune is chipped down so much now, and they don't have any Sacred Fire switch-ins. So yeah, Entei doing his job, Suicune is gone, and I finally shifted momentum back to me, because they kept letting Suicune get chipped. But when you have an Entei and you don't have good switch-ins to Entei, you kind of just have to rely on your only switching, which doesn't have reliable recovery and hasn't had the opportunity to recover in general. So yeah, Mega Arrow goes for Aerial Ace, does absolutely nothing to Porygon 2, to be honest. And Porygon 2, you're going to see, is the MVP by the end of this game. But yeah, for now, Porygon 2 is doing its thing, but unfortunately, Blissey is still a pain in the ass for this one to deal with, and Entei's at 49 and has to take 25 when switching in. So at this point, I'm just like, Roserade is not doing much for me, so I might as well try and prioritize getting spikes up. Why is my voice going? So yeah, they go Chestnut because this one has bulletproof, so in practice, Chestnut actually does wall Roserade because of the ability here. And yeah, so we're ramping up the turns now, and they're just spiking up, and I'm just like, well, if they try and maximize spikes, Entei is gonna die to spikes plus Stealth Rocks, which is not what I want, obviously. So yeah, they go Sylveon here, and as you can see, I still have to deal with Nidoking just being a pain in the ass as well. Like, they have to deal with my Entei, I have to deal with their Nidoqueen. Except the fact, Nidoking. I don't know why I keep saying Nidoqueen. But, yeah, I have to find a way to deal with this. But I'm not going P2 on Spikes plus Stealth Rocks. I'm going to get 2 killed. So, I go Aerodactyl there. Risky play by me. And to be fair, I could have gone for Stone Edge, but the safe play is just EQing, because if I go for Stone Edge against... I need to keep track of the turns. The turns are actually going kind of fast. But yeah, like I could have clicked EQ on what's his name, Nidoking here. No, I could have clicked Stone Edge on Nidoking, but if they went Arrow, like I could have gotten Arrow killed. But yeah, there's no point of risking it here. So as you can see, is a Mega Arrow versus Mega Arrow on turn 31 now. And I'm just like, well, I need to risk this, obviously. Like, what are my switch-ins? Empo's at 59. Roserade doesn't switch in. Sylveon, after Spikes and Stealth Rocks, isn't switching in. And at this point, someone has to analyze that they have to risk the speed tie here. So I have to risk the speed tie. And you guys probably just sort of slip it because I couldn't keep up with pausing it in time. But yeah, I lose the speed tie. And at this point, I'm just like, well... I'm pretty fucking behind right now, aren't I? Like, what can I say? Losing that speed tie was bad for a multitude of reasons. You know, having a secondary physical breaker that wasn't Entei to deal with Blissey would be nice, because they're not T-Wave. So, you know, they would have to Toxic me and try and stall me out. I could open up for crits, go for Double Edge even. And, you know, if I don't want to risk Stone Edge, I am Double Edge. So it'll do almost as much as Stone Edge. I don't risk missing. So, yeah, the point of having Mega Arrow was having something that scares out Chestnut. They don't know that I'm not Wing Attack. Have something that kills Nidoqueen, chip down Doublade. But yeah, losing Arrow, at that point I'm just like, well, I lost the speed tie, of course I did. I was expecting it, to be honest. I always get haxed when it matters. But yeah, at this point I didn't get too mad. I was just like, well, at the end of the day, what do I have left? And that's the most important thing. I analyzed the game. I was like, well, I lost my Arrow. There's not much I can do about it. There's no point of crying about it. So 5 months left. You have to realize, well, Sylveon is not taking Mega Aerodactyl's attacks. And P2 gets a free switch in, so I'm just able to recover straight off. So at this point, keeping a healthy P2 alive is good. You know, I don't lose to Nidoking. I can threaten Chestnut, even though I do have a type disadvantage. P2 is just that bulky. And then, you know, try and get an Empoleon to default. Because at this point, I even realized, like, as the game, at this turn specifically, I was like, I need to get rid of these hazards ASAP. So I need to find a way of defaulting with Empoleon. So yeah. So I go P2 here. As you can see, I can just recover here. They could probably just like, they decide to roost themselves, and I'm just like, fair enough, you just give me my Porygon 2 or 3 turn to do whatever the fuck it wants. But yeah, they go Blissey here, and I'm like, to be fair here, I would have just gone Empo, but I decided to T-Wave because, again, I don't really lose nothing by T-Waving. Paralysis is a very funny status condition. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm going to get my free Empo switch in as they get parried. Obviously, it was important for me to get that paralysis. They would have gone for Seismic Toss and I would have been in trouble. So I decided to default because I'm just like, I'm not trying to deal with a spike. Like, fair enough, rocks, I might just have to deal with it. But yeah, just making sure hazards are clear so I can make the next course of action. Because I know they're going to try and Stealth Rock here. As they did, so I get Entei back in, and I ran out of Sacred Fire, so I had to kick Flare Blitz here, and they decided to S-Toss. I don't know why they S-Tossed. They would have been in a much better situation if they clicked Soft Boiled, but you know, maybe they forgot I ran out of Sacred Fire PP, but Blissey being that low is the beginning of the end for, you know, Bambadoro here, to be fair, because even though Blissey's low, but like it's low enough that my other mons can threaten it. So I decided to start getting out spikes. This team has no removal at all, so my priority here is to maximize my hazards on my side. Even though Empo, like I can't really default at this point anymore, so like I just have to accept that they're gonna get up rocks and 3 spikes. But I've already gone up my 3 spikes as I go P2 here. And I'm just like, they're going to get up their final spike, because who wouldn't here in this scenario? But yeah, this is the beginning. So as you can see, Woodhammer does no damage, and you know, Porygon 2 is here. So I'm playing this game out, and to be fair, now that I think about it, I can skip a couple of these turns now, because I don't actually need to analyze the whole replay. But no, I'll get past this part with Doublade, because Doublade is the issue here. So yeah, P2 is just here paralyzing everything. I go Sylveon, because I'm going to be faster than Doublade. As they decide to SD, and I'm just like, well, I'm in a bit of trouble with their SD, so at this point I have to just chip this shit with Hyper Voice. Does decent damage, 28. Again, Doublade is not a Bastion or Special Bulk in the slightest, so yeah, 0 special attack Hyper Voice doing that much is amazing. So at this point, +2 Shadow Sneak kills me, which they decide to click, but obviously P2's paralysis comes in clutch. Torrent range, Doublade is dead, easy. So yeah, we get past Doublade. To be fair, I got some hacks on my side, but obviously, if I didn't realize that, I should just probably try and paralyze everything. You know, Doublade would have just gotten a kill on Empo, they're guaranteed, and yeah, I probably would have just lost the game to Doublade. So yeah, they go for Stone Edge, and yeah, as you can see, Porygon 2 is just doing its thing of walling everybody. Yeah, so they sack Blissey, and I'm just like, well, Blissey's dead now, so P2 can actually just threaten the rest of these guys. Half the team is weak to Ice guys. So yeah, Sludge Wave only does 38, and you know, P2 just does its thing, starts killing, and as you can see, like, Drain Punch Chestnut can't even 1v1 P2. Like, it's hilarious. I just get the paralysis and just start Ice Beaming, and yeah, we can just skip a couple of these turns because P2's the GOAT. And they miss Stone Edge, again, doesn't really matter. To be fair, you could say crit, but crit wasn't killing me from that range anyway. As you can see, it doesn't even do 30%. So yeah, I decided to para Mega Aerodactyl, and since paralysis is 75 speed reduction in Gen 6, you know, I just outspeed and win the game off there. So yeah, so that's the game, and you know, keeping a cool head got me there. So yeah, I won the game despite being so behind early on, because I didn't let losing the speed side decide the game for me. I went beyond that, making sure every single turn afterwards was the correct turn, keeping cool and just playing the best game I could. What you should take away from this video is every game is winnable unless the matchup is super doomed, and it's mainly on you to get the win by playing at your best ability. And the only way you can do that is by keeping calm and not letting hacks or RNG distract you from making the most optimal play every single turn. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Peace.